special guest investigator, conversations in the torture chamber, a demon named Tim. Grab a snack and help us unpack all that and more. It's time for Ghost Files Debrief! Thank you for joining us. I'm Ryan Bergara, and that thing over there is my colleague Shane Madej. Shane.
Each week, we look back at our most compelling evidence, behind-the-scenes moments, and we answer your burning questions.
Now let's get our debrief of Chillingham Castle started. Right off the bat, here's a sneak peek of this episode's Road Files.
One of my favorite investigations I've ever done, period. Just because Richard, the guy was electric.
I love Richard. Richard is so fun. I wish every location had a Richard, to be honest.
You fill this full of rocks, wind it up, put whatever damage joint you want, X marks the spot, drop it down.
Yikes.
And this one here was for breaking legs and arms.
Ooh.
He is the ghost hunter for this place. Like, he is the designated person to ghost hunt for the castle.
The day of the shoot, we were like, oh, maybe he wants to join us. Maybe he can join for the full episode. At one point, I was like, if he's game for this, we should have him do his own solo.
And if you like that clip of Road Files, you can watch the whole episode over on Watcher TV right now.
Oh, Ryan, I overslept and it's time for a ghost hunt. Oh boy.
But we haven't eaten dinner yet. And how many times do I have to tell you I cannot hunt on an empty stomach?
Stress not, my friend, because we just got a delicious looking meal delivery from this week's episode sponsor, Factor.
Their fresh, never frozen meals are gourmet chef crafted, dietitian approved, and ready to eat in just 2 minutes. No prep, no cook time, and no cleanup. Wow. Simply heat and savor the good stuff.
I just love that we get to choose from a weekly menu of 35 different meals, from keto to vegan, protein plus, and discover more than 60 add-ons every week, like breakfast, snacks, and beverages to stay fueled for our hunts all day or all night.
I love breakfast.
I know you do.
Ooh, now this dish is my favorite, the peanut Buddha bowl.
It's cheaper and better than any old restaurant takeout. I'm gonna dig right in.
That's the
here.
longest I've ever seen that on a plate in front of you. That's crazy. This garlic herb and chicken breast with smoked cheddar cauliflower grits. This is good too. Oh boy.
We're a couple of biggies in hog heaven right now.
Yeah, head to factor75.com or click the link below and use code 50WatcherTV to get 50% off plus free shipping on your first Factor box.
Code, just a second. That's code 50WatcherTV at factor75.com to get 50% off plus free shipping on your first box.
You can ship yourself one of these.
I wouldn't mind it. What do you mean? What do you mean by that? Ship myself one of these?
Well, you're not gonna have any money.
Anyways, bus trip here.
Bus trip.
We stopped.
We got on a bus in Edinburgh, Scotland.
That's right.
And then we took that bus all the way down the coast.
That's right. And then we stopped at a market to gather supplies because we were staying at this castle. And we almost missed the bus because Shane, myself, and Ben, we grabbed our groceries rather quickly because we were all bunking up. And then we were like, whoa, everyone's still shopping. We got some fast food.
Yeah, we did.
We got some fast food. And then we were late coming back to the bus.
Incredible castle, though. What a location. It's very rare that we get to stay someplace this cool.
I mean, I'm not excited to stay at any kind of haunted location, but as far as the haunted locations that we have stayed at go, this was pretty good. I did get injured here.
Yeah.
And that could have been, John Sage doing a little torturing to me in the torture chamber.
Or it could be your clumsy ass.
Well, I mean, there was a hole in the middle of the ground.
Sure.
It was like a hole this big, this big.
But again, that's you. That's on you.
It was a dark room.
Sure, but
He
it's not
led
the
me to
ghost's
that-
fault.
He led me to that hole. He pushed me in the hole.
Oh,
Anyway, I did twist my ankle, but I just did what you do when you're on the court. You just tighten up your shoes real tight with your laces. I think Lizzie also had some Advil. And I just powered through, because that's what you do when you're a ghost hunter.
Yeah.
You just wrap it up.
Now, as for me, I wanted to post give an update about stealing. As you know, there was some sort of child's rumor that if you steal something from the grounds, you'll be murdered, or...
There was a Spanish witch who felt that she owned the property.
Right.
That anything taken there, she would curse you if you took it.
Yes.
That is the belief. That's the story.
And I tried to take the nut and that didn't work. So I ended up
Couldn't get the
taking
nut.
a little. I couldn't, and I needed that nut. I took a little pebble, which Richard gave me full permission.
Yeah. Well, you don't want to be disrespectful and just take something.
No.
You know? So you did ask the caretaker for permission.
Yeah.
And he said, sure. That's what you'd like to do.
Yeah.
And he was saying that more so like you're going to be cursed.
Yeah.
Have you been cursed?
I mean, not more so than usual. I guess my cat got cancer, and he's not gonna make it too much longer.
Do you think that's the work of the Spanish witch?
I think so.
The only thing that
But-
curses you is the idea that you couldn't get that nut. You really
I wanted that
it.
fucking nut.
He tried to get his hands in there. He couldn't get the nut. We spent like 3 minutes in the edit of you trying to get this nut out of the wall. Anyways, if you've seen the episode, you know we caught some pretty compelling pieces of evidence. Let's unpack a little more of what we captured at Chillingham Castle.
Chillingham.
We collected a lot of evidence throughout the night, but there were 2 rooms in particular that were overwhelming. So right off the bat, we've got to start with that torture chamber. We got so much evidence in here on the obelisk and the Busaby. Here's a short clip for when we were talking about the Iron Maiden to refresh your memory.
Oh, look, no, I think.
Oh, this is a classic Iron Maiden.
This is a different version of the Iron Maiden.
This is the real deal, because it's iron on the outside. I think that other barrel was maybe like a prototype or
I
something.
think the barrel was something John designed.
some sick kind of remix, you know?
Yeah, he was like, let me put my own spin on it.
Yeah, and he rolled it around.
And then he rolled it
as
around,
thinks
exactly.
We're
Yeah.
having fun here.
Very good.
Again, not sure what's going on.
I've seen this in the film Bloody Sunday. Stab, head. Wait, inside, head, stab.
Yeah.
Okay, so there's a whole lot in here that we could run down. We got a bunch of figures on the SLS on torture devices, some on the actual chopping block, which we got wicked wood on the obelisk.
You got wicked wood on it?
I got wicked wood. So there was also that time when I was saying, is there anything in here that you would like to talk about? Say something, and then Shane, you pointed to the kind of wheel thing. You said, what about this? Busaby goes off, then at the obelisk at the same time says cycle. There was a lot of things happening in here. Also on my solo, there was a reference to John Sage's nickname, which is Dragfoot.
A lot going on. It's a castle. Been around a long time. A lot of people there.
Yeah, I guess so.
A lot of ghosts.
Moving on. The next room we have to talk about is obviously the chapel with our dear pal Richard. This is when we've just started doing the double Estes method on the spirit box, and Richard is reaching out to the demon who likes to go by Tim
And
or Timothy.
By the way, just a quick round of applause for Richard. Just a wonderful guy.
That's right.
And him roping us into a double Estes, just, we had the time of our lives with him.
We also have to say we did not plan for Richard to investigate with us. He was actually just essentially the site rep. He was also the in-house paranormal investigator for this castle, and he would walk around with us. And he was just constantly being
You'd
like,
be mid-conversation with him. He'd be like, there's an orb right there. There's an orb right there. Just saw something in the corner.
and he'd be like talking about the history, like this is the Great Hall. Ghost right there. And we were just kind of like, and we realized like this guy's got to be in the episode, so we essentially had to ask Richard if he'd like to be in the episode, and he immediately was like, yes.
It's like when you're walking with the EVPs together.
Yeah,
the two of you.
No, the EMF detector.
Or the EMF detector, yeah. It's like you're just,
It was great.
it's like
Two
your
peas-
long-lost father.
2 peas in a pod.
Did you suddenly feel angry that your actual father is a dentist and not Richard?
No, I wouldn't go that far. No, I didn't see Richard as a father figure, but I did see him as a daddy. Finally, somebody who's going to investigate with me.
Yeah, that's true. I was happy for you.
Also, Richard pointed out that one of the names that we got on the obelisk in the torture chamber, Sandy, was short for Alexander.
And that ain't short for Alexander.
Yeah, it kind of makes sense.
My middle name's Alexander. No one's ever called me Sandy.
Well, it's because no one calls you Alexander.
That's a good point. All right, let's take a look at this footage.
Do you feel you're stronger than Sage, Timothy? Or Tim?
Actually, soccer.
That guy.
Dick. You. That's not. Wow.
Bollocks.
Okay, I really think that Tim is now in the room with us. And when it gets to Tim, watch out, because then out the spirit boxes, the profanities fly. What do you feel about Ryan, Tim?
Alpha.
Alpha, okay. And how do you feel about Shane, Tim? Are you pleased that they've...
Nothing.
Lovely.
That's good.
It's probably one of the craziest Estes methods we've ever had, especially because it's a double one.
That's a wild one. Because the other thing you have to remember is that the radio scanners, because that's all it is, there's no
Okay.
science behind it. Well, I'm still explaining something interesting
Yeah.
about it, is that we're starting them at different times, and they're scanning different parts of the radio band at different, so they're not like going on the same stations at the same time.
They're not going at the same time.
Yeah, so it would be very strange for the same words to come out at the same
Yes.
time because they're sort of moving through different stations.
Pretty funny responses there. It's always good or very humorous to me when you are the one wearing the headphones and then later you get to review the footage to see if any of the things that you said match up to
Yeah.
the person who's questioning.
Like, we shot that. You were also out of the loop.
I know.
And then we took our headphones off and we're like, how'd it go?
Yeah, exactly, how'd it go, yeah.
And the crew was like, it was really good. It was great.
Richard did a great job. Look, the ghosts knew Richard at this place.
That's the
Which is
thing.
always like a benefit. Like if you're doing like a home hunt, it helps if you have the person there because they're familiar with that person.
And that's why we're excited to announce that next season, Richard will be joining the cast full time.
Well, it would
No,
only
I
work
wish.
if we were investigating that castle.
No,
full time.
but he's great.
I'd love to go back to the castle.
Maybe we could. I
Back
don't
in his
know.
ghost gear.
I love that guy. We love Richard. In this house, we love Richard.
And look, if there's anything else that we missed that you guys want to talk about, drop it in the comments.
Yeah, Ryan needs all the extra evidence that he can get. Okay. He'll fake it.
Okay. No. What?
No, he won't.
About to whack you on the head with this laptop. All right, enough of that. Moving right along this week, we're bringing on our own producer, Lizzie. Lizzie, come on down.
Lizzie's here.
Lizzie, you are here.
Lizzie Lockard in the
Here I am,
flesh.
Flesh.
The pride of Iowa.
Ready to Miss Iowa Corn Husker 2013.
Yeah?
No.
Okay, I would have believed you. You could have just gone.
Everyone believes that when I say it.
It's the last episode of the season, the last debrief for the last episode of the season for Ghost Files Season 3.
We had fun. This is a great season.
Great work on your part, securing all these locations
That's right.
and talking with all these people. When we met up for the UK section of this season, Ryan and I had been in the UK for about a week at that point doing live shows.
As was
I
Lizzie.
was with you.
You were with us.
Clearly, he didn't remember that. Now,
You know
it's
what I-
interesting because you actually met up with us a week after.
Wow.
I was going to talk about how fun it was to meet up with everyone in Edinburgh.
It was.
But then as I was thinking about that, I was like, why am I feeling like Lizzie was not a part of that?
Because she was.
Because you were with us the
I
entire
was
time.
there.
Wait, so instead of like.
It felt wrong in my brain, but I was just rolling with it.
You just erased it from the memory altogether.
I did.
As opposed to being like, am I wrong about this?
No, you got us into the Soho house. We had a lot of fun. So
we were panicking because the episode was like corrupted or something
Yeah,
on
we
our
had to fix it
drive.
for the
and we
live.
had a
I had-
show that night.
I had to re-edit it on my laptop.
Yeah.
And thank God for the Soho Wi-Fi because we showed a good episode in London. Actually, we
Great.
showed the last 20 minutes of the first episode of this season.
That's right.
Which was really cool because we were able to see how people reacted to the new challenges in our solos,
it made
and then
me-
we're able to lean into them more.
It made me tolerate
because some
them
people needed to do
a
that.
little bit. Well, no, you know what's funny is watching the back half of this season, I was like, I guess I wasn't that moved by that. I'm still kind of like, fuck this.
I like the solo challenge.
I love them too. We have some pretty fun stuff planned
You
for the
should do
next.
some next season
Well, the next.
I will.
instead of me.
Yeah, sure.
Just swap
Let's
you guys
go.
out, hot swap.
I'll go and look at some
Two
fun,
tall white
fun-
people, and no one will know the difference.
That's right.
He was also Miss Iowa Corn Husker 2013.
That's cool.
Did you have a favorite location this season?
Honestly, it was this one.
It was incredible.
Chillingham was
Chillingham
incredible.
was
Chillingham was so
super
good.
fun.
Got to be one of the coolest experiences of my life, honestly.
It was so great. And, you know, Mark and Carter and Violet and I go and scout locations beforehand. And we met Richard then, and he was showing us around. And Mark and I were like, this guy is great.
Yeah.
We love this guy. So we're like, maybe we'll see if he can come and like join us for one of the rooms or whatever. And then, you know, like if he's okay in camera, we'll see if he wants to stick around more. He had told us he always has a bunch of ghost hunting gear in his car, which
He stayed ready.
he did stay ready. And we were talking about spirit boxes, and I was like, so you have a second one? Like maybe we could do a double spirit box session. But Mark and I didn't know if you would be down for it, if you wanted to be the one in control.
So was it your idea?
Yes. Like I guess Richard had done it before.
Oh, so he was
I
like,
don't remember.
so Martha's rodeo.
Would you be open to doing like a double one? And he was like, yeah, of course. But
I appreciate
polite
you
British,
thinking of me like that because, like, I guess as the lead investigator here,
You know?
Look, everyone acknowges you're
as the lead investigator,
Yes,
sometimes
you
do
are.
have to cede the control.
Yeah.
But I would easily do that for someone like Richard because he's a brilliant man.
It was phenomenal. It was so fun. And we were all, you know, you don't see this, but I think Ryan mentioned earlier, Ben and Violet and I were all like squeezed in this tiny stairwell, and Carter between the Great Hall and the chapel, and we were all just like cackling to ourselves, listening to you guys have conversations. It was really fun.
Yeah, I remember after the double Estes, when we were setting up to go to the next location, Carter described the Estes method session with Richard. He was like, it was electric. It was electric. I like that he stayed ready. I used to do that all the time. Not well, now I do it with Ghost Gear. But back in high school and college, I used to carry a basketball
b-ball?
and all my clothes and gear with me in my trunk.
Shane
Just in
always
case
has
anyone
his-
was like,
That's why I've always got my basketball.
Your protractor.
That's right.
You
Yeah,
know?
it's
protractor.
Just in
that's right.
case he finds
I
any
need
more
a
nuts in the wall.
Yeah, I stay ready too.
you gotta stay ready.
Anyway, enough chit-chatting.
Yeah, we-
On to some Q&A.
Some qua. Lizzie,
qua.
why don't you give us a qua? You know, that's what they love to hear. They love to hear you do that.
I think so.
Yeah, go on.
I think the people really like it.
Q, do you have one more example? Qua.
It's nice.
Okay.
I'll work on it
Yeah, that's all right.
next season.
We are going to gather some questions from you guys for Lizzie, as well as questions about this episode, and we're going to jump into that right now.
Let's be jumping.
Yeah!
Well, we're not in the studio.
We are not, as you can tell. We're shooting a little Ghost Files crossover ep with a show we can't mention.
That's right.
As crazy as that sounds.
Okay, let's. Our first question from Allie, aka Lim Laugh Love. Lizzie, did you have any logistical considerations or challenges unique to filming in the UK episodes that you don't have in the US?
Yes,
Nice.
I did have some logistical concerns. The main one of which is driving. In the UK, they're on the other side of the road. And I did not trust myself.
It's so scary.
I did not trust myself to do that. And usually we have two cars and Shane is the one driving the other one.
That's right.
Like
And it's so scary when I drive. Every time I get behind the wheel, I'm so scared. Even in the US.
he's a very scared boy.
Yeah.
So it was a lot more using public transportation. We took some flights, we took some vans, we took some trains, we took the Vomit Comet from Glasgow over to Edinburgh.
Is that what they call it?
Why they call it that?
Because, who told us this? Because word on the street is that so many people from Glasgow will go over to Edinburgh on the weekends in the train.
I see.
Not in a car.
Party.
And then when they come back, they're like puking on the train.
Great.
There's word
I
on the
love that.
street. So, yes, that was the main logistical concern, getting around.
All right, well, let's move to the second question then.
This one is from Spencer E. Caniglia. The double Estes method was so good. The timing of Shane getting Ryan repeatedly was crazy. Do you think you'll run 2 spirit boxes at the same time in other locations?
Well, thank you, Lizzie. Actually, can you hold it while I eat my cookie?
Yes.
Jesus Christ.
Now, Ryan, go ahead and answer.
I love how you said, "Can you hold it while I eat my cookie?" and then you didn't answer. I think it would be hard to do it more times in the future, unless we had another guest investigator with us, because otherwise there's no one to conduct the Estes session.
Yes, I was going to say, logistically, it doesn't really work with just the two of us.
No, we would need a third party, which, if we have other guest investigators, which I'm always open to and hope we get more of, then yeah, I would love to do it.
That would be fun. Yeah, we'd like to. It was a lot of fun. We really had a great time doing it. And kudos to Richard,
Good guy.
the charred man.
Moving on to question number 3 from Caitlin. Lizzie, is there anywhere in particular on your ghost hunting location wish list? Anywhere in the world?
We have talked about how it'd be really sick to go to Buckingham Palace.
Never gonna happen.
Never gonna happen, but that's the dream. That'd be super fun. So if you've got any connects, please let us know. We also brought that up on tour in London, and I know you guys were like, I don't know, we didn't know how this was gonna hit with this crowd, but everybody in London was like, yeah, catch the queen!
Yeah, we loved it.
So help us help you.
Question from Julie Rice, or Reeves. Loved the season. Great job, team. This question is mostly just for Ryan Bergara. He's right here, the
Thank you for
co-host of the
specifying.
show. Do you believe in divination tools? Things like tarot cards, pendulums, runes, etc. I read tarot cards for a living and am curious if a ghost believer believes in them too. I will not be offended if you think it's all hooey lol. Hashtag Bergara for life.
I personally do not put a lot of stock into them.
Yeah,
but
bullshit.
Okay.
That
well, I
is
don't know if I
such
I'm
a
just kidding.
Sagittarius thing to say.
I think tarot cards are interesting because they make you consider aspects of your life.
Yeah, I like that they promote introspection.
Yes.
And so for that, I think they're very valuable. But in terms
Pendulums
of like,
are bullshit.
pendulums do rely on anything that relies on like human hands to move it, like pendulums or dowsing rods, things like that, or even a Ouija board. Honestly, those are things that I always am a little I don't want to say doubtful of, but I certainly a little bit more discerning of the evidence I see that's captured by those things. Moving on to question
5.
Okay.
From Hannah. The torture room was featured pretty heavily in this episode.
Yes.
If someone had to torture you in a non-lethal, painful way, for example, just something that would drive you nuts, like playing a song that you hate over and over, what method would be most effective for each of you? Great season finale. Hope to see you in Ireland sometime. We also hope to see you in Ireland. We'd love to go.
It would have to be that Gautier
somebody
song.
I used to know.
Yeah, I don't like that song. I don't like it one bit.
I think it would be forcing me to watch bad movies back to back to back to back forever.
Name one.
Cars.
Cars is good.
For me, it'd be being forced to walk barefoot on carpet and just like every once in a while there's a bit of Lego.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say crumbs or something. That's also bad.
What about all Lego? Why? Carpet sounds nice. What if it's just all Lego?
That's awful.
That's like laying on a bed of nails though. Like that's
don't
not
think
gonna
it
do.
It's not that, but it's not comfortable.
It's easy. I would rather stand on pile of Lego than single Lego.
That's fair.
yeah,
you
because
know.
you're ready for it. We're moving on from Lily. Shane, as mayor of Woodfield Mall, what is objectively the best store in the whole place? I'm personally still mourning the Rainforest Cafe.
We're all mourning the Rainforest Cafe. I miss it often. You know, when we shot that video with Eddie Burback
Yes.
a year or two ago, I remember telling him, you know, I wish you could have gone to my beautiful Rainforest Cafe in Woodfield Mall. I am a big fan of the Deep McDonald's.
The deep. What does that mean?
What does that?
There's a McDonald's in Woodfield Mall that goes deep.
Oh, okay. I thought it was like the guy from The Boys.
Brother. I'm a big fan. This is Streets of Woodfield, but I love the Maggiano's in the corner bakery over in Streets of Woodfield, which is basically the
Yeah.
sort of the, if Woodfield is the Galleria, Streets of Woodfield is the Americana.
Oh, cool.
And I guess I'll also give a shout out to, I believe it's called Gamer's Paradise, unless they changed it. Just a great board game store. Great question. On to our next one. This is from Mike of All Trades. My ghouly dudes. What if Hobblefoot was the ghost talking about Ryan's sprained ankle? Maybe Dragfoot was trying to find some common ground.
That's actually a good point, because I assumed he was talking about John Sage, whose nickname was Dragfoot, and he did not apparently like that name. It was, I guess he had suffered that injury in the war. But no, actually Hobblefoot would make a lot of sense if it was mocking me.
From Livestella. Great ep. It must be so incredible to explore these kinds of locations, especially alone at night. LOL. How is it exploring the property with someone that's worked within it for so long? It's almost like having a personalized tour guide. And hilarious that in front of Richard, Shane was very polite about not stealing, and the second he was gone, Shane was fucking desperate to get that nut out of the wall.
I wanted that nut.
Shane, you gotta know that about him.
You show me that nut, I want that nut.
Especially on camera. It's nice to go to a place with somebody who actually is familiar with the ghosts there, because I find that makes them a more active.
They're like, oh, hello,
Home
it's
hunts,
me
rather.
old chum Richard.
Sure, if that's the accent that you want to do. I just
When
think
it's
it's
us,
nice
they're
when
like, who are these two fellas?
Yeah, exactly.
And
A
it's
home hunt
oh, no, wait
also
a
lends
minute,
itself
it's
to that,
me
which is
old
why I wanna do
friend
that.
Richard, isn't it?
All right, Q&A part 2. Now, as you can tell from the seasonal decor around
That's
here,
right.
it's nearly Christmas.
Yeah, it is Christmas.
So we're about to head off on holiday, as they say in the UK, and we're filming this in advance. So instead of collecting questions on this specific investigation, as mentioned in the pinned comment under the Blair Street Underground Vaults episode, we're going to answer some of your questions pertaining to the season or ghost hunting in general.
That's right.
Ryan, kick us off.
Ghost hunting in general, that'll be an exciting meditation, right?
Yeah.
We could talk about the art, just like the techniques.
Certainly can't talk about the science. We could talk about the art of it, but not again.
First up is from Dennis French 1074. Dennis asks, if you could ghost hunt with a fictional ghost hunting crew in their universe, who would you pick? I.e. Scooby-Doo from Mystery Inc., Sam and Dean from Supernatural, Buffy the Vampire Slayer, and her own Scooby
And her
gang.
Scooby gang.
Is that what they call themselves?
I don't know what they call
Don't they call them their Buffy gang?
They call them the Scooby gang?
That's crazy, really? Wow. They didn't call themselves the Buffy Buds or something like that?
Buffy Buds is good.
It's right there. All right. Well, who would you investigate with?
Buffy, I guess. I like, who's the old guy? Giles? What's his name?
Wouldn't Buffy have better
Yeah,
things to
funny
do?
guy.
She's like slaying vampires.
She's not really doing ghosts, I guess. I don't know. I didn't watch
I don't think she does ghosts.
I don't want to be a cartoon. So
Too
I'll
late.
What is that supposed to mean?
I think you know exactly what it means.
I don't know what it means.
I think you know what it means.
Who are you going to do the fiction
Who am I going to
with?
do? Who am I going to do the fiction with? I think I'm going to do Scooby-Doo.
Okay.
I do. I'm going to do Scooby. And he has a pal, Scrappy-Doo, too. I'll do it with him, too.
Why is he there?
Because
he
he's-
doesn't have to be.
He's a funny little guy.
Oh, you like
I just
him?
like that he's basically Scooby, but smaller.
You've kind of got big Scrappy-Doo energy.
Thank you. That's a big compliment.
It ain't.
I think it is.
This next one's from Candy Pie 0. Great episode. Say one of you hurts yourself on a solo and you need to yell for help. Do you have a special code word ready so the crew knows it's real danger and not just normal ghost hunting shenanigans? That's a great idea.
We don't, actually, and this is something that I think about all the time. I mention this all the time when we're on tour, actually, that one of the things I do, in jest, not as a joke, I will Google the nearest health facility, a hospital. Because like some of the places would go remote, very remote, and I figure that if I have a heart attack, I might be
He's a goner.
But these places are huge, so
big.
you could be anywhere. Like if I had a heart attack in Waverly when you sent me off on that wild goose chase in season 1, who knows where my body would have been found or how long it would have been found later.
I think we should look into getting sponsored by Life Alert next season.
I honestly was thinking we should get a Life Alert button or just a giant button that I could press in case like I'm in real trouble.
Yeah, maybe we should have a code
Even
word.
if I had a code word, it wouldn't matter because like I guess I would text you the code word. By that point, like,
Yeah, I ain't coming.
Moving on, our next question is from @Drenek4913. They suggest maybe offer some food to the ghouls, kind of like a bait, just like fishing. Maybe you'll have some more compelling evidence. I don't like that implication at the end there.
These questions are like, maybe you do this to make this show better.
I don't like what you're
Maybe
implying
this would
there.
help with sort of your track record.
Now, here's what I will say. Seeing as how this is the last debrief and we're filming this in advance and you haven't seen the last episode yet, I'm assuming you haven't seen all of the great evidence that we've captured in that episode, hence why you would ask such a question at the end. But ignoring that for a second, sometimes you could you offer food when you're doing like a seance. So, I guess it wouldn't be out of, the realm of what is considered normal to offer some.
I'll never forget about that
some
delicious
goldfish or something.
pastry we offered up at the Winchester.
It was a lot.
It was really good.
Yeah, I tell you,
I
liked
ate
it.
that.
That was supposed to be for the ghosts.
Yeah, that's okay. You could still eat it and give them a little crumb or something.
Yeah, but then your slobbers all over it.
That's okay. They're ghosts.
What if Sarah was standing in the corner, be like, "Fuck, I was gonna eat that."
My Sarah?
No, like Sarah Winchester.
Oh!
Why would?
I wouldn't make Sarah stand in the corner while I ate.
Isn't that how dinner works at your house?
It's like a Blair Witch situation.
Sarah's like, "Damn, I was gonna eat that, dude." Fuck. All right.
All right, this next one is from the amazing Elise. If the whole point of the spirit box is white noise, why can't it just be a white noise machine? Is it because a radio is more likely to get a false positive? Read fake results. Well, it can't be a white noise machine because it is a radio scanner.
It is a radio
That's not
scanner.
the intent for it to be a white noise machine, right?
It's the intent is them to be able to use the energy of it to piece things together. So that if you like piece the channels together, the argument could be that it's not the radio. But technically, yes, white noise noise is considered something that would be useful in that. So that is a good point.
It's just a radio scanner, and it has to be because then you have to hear the words and stuff. If it's a white noise machine, you won't hear words, right?
You never know.
You never know, but I'd know, and you wouldn't. Ryan, this next question is for you, so why don't you read it?
Oh, cool. This comes from Ross Carmen 7397. Ross asks, do you get new holy water or do you reuse old holy water? Also, do priests give you an expiration date on the holiness of said holy water? Maybe a 1-year warranty or something, or is it a indefinitely holy?
Ross is asking the right questions.
Well, the holy water that we do have is you can actually buy bottles that come from like a blessed river, and that's some of the
Really?
holy water that we have. Yeah, and then some of it is actually just some that we've collected over time, but for the most part, it's from that like blessed river. But I try to, when we go on location, collect holy water from the place that I'm at. If it's a place that has a demon, you'll see that in an upcoming series on Ghost Files alone.
Yes, you certainly attempt to do that on there.
I'd say I get halfway there.
Yeah, sort of. Yeah, I don't think there's an expert. I think once water is blessed, it's good.
It's good forever.
Yeah.
I would say that's like, yeah, that's in perpetuity.
All right, this next one is from Chris Herring 5511. Do you think hauntings are time related? Ghosts appear at the time of their deaths. When a traumatic event happened, you have to be at the location at said time? Also, have you ever thought of using a Van de Graaff generator? Putting more energy into the environment might help manifest spirits.
I'm not laughing at the question, I'm laughing at his strange reading of that. Like
It's a weird question from a weird guy.
Well, Chris,
Weird question,
I
Chris.
don't think it's that weird. Is it time related? I don't know actually what the time from human to ghost is. Like how
It's
long?
gotta be like,
What's the gestation period?
I bet your lights go out and then you just, woo! You know?
Well,
That's kind of how it works in Casper when Bill Pullman dies.
I'm sure it feels instantaneous when you become a ghost, but I'm sure like that time, the gestation period could be forever.
Interesting. I don't know.
I wouldn't know. I wouldn't pretend to know. That would be my guess. But I mean, at the very least, we know it's after they die.
Was Chris getting at the sort of the concept of like residual, where like people are on a schedule?
Residual or intelligent hauntings?
On a schedule? Where they're like,
Residual would be just like energy.
5 o'clock p.m., that's when I got shot in the head.
Well, that's not even so much like them like clocking it themselves. It's just like if something happened at this time, it said the energy of that event just reoccurs over and over again.
Yeah.
And then you're just seeing like an echo of like, it's not even something intelligent. It's
Right.
like more just like, where does matter go kind of thing. Which actually is probably the most scientific explanation of ghosts that would satisfy someone like you.
And yet, it's not scientific at all.
No, but you see what I'm saying though, where like an intelligent one would be like a ghost that is like an undead thing walking around,
Sure.
still has a concept of self, remembers all its memories. Be like, hey, it's my favorite chair. I'm gonna sit in that chair.
Yeah, that's not scientific.
Who are
but-
these guys?
But like matter, like an echo.
Energy, just where does energy go after you die? Where's your soul go? Where like that if it just stays in the same spot where it passed on, that feels to me at the very least a half step towards something that you would believe more so than like, that's Greg. He died right there, but now he's Greg still. And he doesn't have a body, but he's Greg.
He's Greg.
But he's still Greg.
This is an echo of Greg.
No, not an echo Greg. Greg remembers
This
he's
is Greg.
He just doesn't realize he's not Greg anymore.
This is Greg, yeah. What is a Van de Graaff machine?
It's a very
Ryan?
funny looking thing. You crank it.
You crank it.
You crank it, and then it conducts apparently electricity that then the ghost could then be said to feed off of. I guess is the what he's.
You crank it and then they come up and go,
All right, let's crank one out.
dinner's on!
At the beginning
Ring
of
the
every
bell.
at the beginning of every solo, we should crank one.
Yeah.
Juice them up.
I actually am very intrigued by that and think we should do that next season.
I'll
be the official cranker.
Yeah, well, you already are, but off camera. But we could use the crank machine and maybe conduct electricity, which I guess they could use if we want to go with that. I don't know how much that's gonna work. Because people do use EMF pumps.
So you pump and
You pump and you crank.
you do the pump and I'll do the cranking.
That's usually the order in which it occurs. But now we can make it canon. Anyways, last but not least, this one comes from Alexandra Ziva 157. Alexandra says, "Man, if you guys made more Ghost Files, we would be so here for it. I speak for all of us fans when I say this is our most favorite videos of all time. So my question is, why don't you boys make Ghost Files more often? P.S. Love you guys. Team Shane." Doesn't even know the name of your team though.
That's fine.
Just Team Shane.
Yeah, we're kind of,
Shaniacs. It's the name of the team.
Yeah.
Shane.
Yeah, you know what? You should know. You're off the team.
Good news for you, we are going to be doing more Ghost Files. We're going to be doing 2 seasons of Ghost Files per year starting next year. Talked a little bit about this in our podcast over at Watcher Podcast, Pod Watcher, if you don't listen to that. But that is something that we are planning on rolling out, so you'll be happy to know 2 seasons of Ghost Files, 2 seasons of Mystery Files is what we're aiming to do. Because we love investigating.
We love to get out there. I like to, just go to these little towns and talk to folks and, see the real America.
More time for Shane to crank.
Yeah, that's right. But that'll be fun. That's it.
That's right. cranking and pumping all year long. Well, that wraps up this investigation. Thank you so much for tuning in to this episode and season of Ghost Files and Ghost Files Debrief. But if you're still in the mood for some more spooky content, stay tuned because coming up next Friday is the YouTube premiere of a special 3-episode spin-off, Ghost Files Alone.
That's right, our brave little guy is headed into a haunted house to investigate for 24 hours, all on his lonesome.
That's right.
Scary. It's good stuff, so stick around. And for more behind-the-scenes content, head on over to WatcherTV.com or hop on our app.
Yes, and actually Watcher TV already has all 3 parts of Ghost Files Alone over there, so you can binge it if you want. But once again, the premiere of that is coming on YouTube next week. Very excited for you guys to see that. One of the favorite things maybe my favorite thing I've ever made in my life. Watcher TV is where you can check out both the full episode of this week's Road Files, which is behind the scenes of Ghost Files, as well as Evidence Room, where you can watch a master compilation of all the incredible evidence that we captured at Chillingham Castle, both aired and unaired. And it's some good stuff in there, because not everything can make it past the cutting room floor. Sometimes things don't fit within the flow. And if you don't want to wait to watch Ghost Files Alone, like I said, hop on over to Watcher TV and start streaming now.
And lastly,
We'll see you on YouTube next week.
yes, lastly, if you're not already a Watcher TV member, join the Boo Crew by using the discount code in the description to shave a little off a yearly subscription. Well, that's going to do it for this season of Debrief, Ryan. I think we have to shake on that one.
That's right.
It's been a great season for you. A lot of good evidence.
A lot of good evidence.
Genuinely, a lot of a really exciting season for
Thank you. No, I appreciate that.
And we had a lot of fun. We went to a lot of fun places.
We did.
Had a lot of. Who knows what we'll get up to next season?
That's right. You had some episodes where nothing happened, so it was a good outcome for you too.
We did the challenges.
Yeah,
well,
we
hit
did.
or miss.
Okay.
You know, what are you gonna do? We'll have some fun next season with those, and probably change them up a little bit. I'm sure we'll.
Well, thank you all for watching this
thanks
season.
for
We
watching.
appreciate it, and we'll see you next season, which is going to be coming sooner than you think, because we're doing 2 per year now.
That's right. See you then.
This door did just open itself, right? Yeah. Come on now.
I think that's just because of the air pressure. I mean, my window's open.
I mean, did you not? I heard the doorknob. I feel like I heard the doorknob.